Brothers and sisters, I have to shift the time a little bit sometimes when those people be out there with their little leaf blowers and whatnot going crazy. But check me out. We're back. Three simple words: honor, courage, commitment. One, two, three different pages. 1 second. Honor, courage, commitment. Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Okay. And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you shall get to this, because eventually you shall, because I know how this goes. Honor. See, there's a noun, a verb. I'm going to go with the second verb. I'm going to read all of them to you, but I'm going to explain why. Honor, high respect or great esteem. But respect and honor are not the same thing, and I'll break it down to you. Adherence to what is right, to a conventional standard of conduct. Adherence to what is right or to a conventional standard of conduct. Okay? The verb. With great respect. Again, the respect word. I don't agree that they're the same thing. They're totally different. Two, fulfill an obligation or keep an agreement. To fulfill, observe, keep, discharge, implement, perform, execute. Follow me. So when I say honor, I'm not talking about respect. I'm talking about observe, to fulfill, to keep, to implement. Can you hear me? To fulfill an obligation or keep an agreement. I'm talking about adhering to what is right. I give a damn about the respect. Give me one moment. Respect no man's persons. Nope. Moses. We're not talking about my boy Paul. Give me 1 second, yo. This is not what I'm talking about. I know it's further back. I think it's in Leviticus. I'll have to just pull it up here in a second. But still, there's a law that Moses gives to the people. It's a charge, pretty much saying that you don't respect a man's persons. You don't, and it's talking about like the rich and the poor, and when you're giving judgment, like you don't give greater consideration for a person that's poor or somebody that's rich, somebody that's famous, or like, let's just say like they're really big and tall. He's like, forget all that when it comes to judgment and and executing justice. You 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 have to disregard all that. So you can't respect anything, really. You can honor it. Like I said, you can respect the dead because you can't fulfill anything for them. They're gone. But you can give them you can give them what is due, which is the fact that let them rest in peace. Don't speak ill on their name. Right on. But real honor is the one that I look at as honor is the number two of either one of those. The number two noun and the number two verb. Let's go to courage. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. Strength in the face of pain or grief. If I could add to that, I would say that courage is the ability to face down adversity without blinking. Um, not having not having any kind of reservations, just going for it. And those are always important things to remember. Commitment. I'm going to get back to that courage here in a second. Commitment, the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause, activity, etc. Dedication, devotion, allegiance, loyalty, faithfulness, fidelity. An engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. Responsibility, obligation, duty, tie, charge, liability, burden. Depends on how you see it. A promise is a commitment by someone to do or not to do something. Mm. Understand a promise is a form of a commitment. Come on. I'm gonna break all those down and just get right to it. It takes no honor, no courage, no commitment to abandon your station. Right on? Takes none of that. And when I say that to anybody that's ever abandoned their station in life. See, as opposed to trying to make it to where people see or agree or whatever, I would rather them actually perceive what I'm saying and then they get it. Because that's the blessing. Honor, courage, commitment. It takes none of those, like I said, to abandon your station, to leave where you're supposed to be or where you could be, right? And to fight, even if it's not for what's yours, it's for what's right. See, honor. Honor is honor is a man that was born in the South, okay, uh, to be drafted, okay, unceremoniously off the streets, even though he had already served a term in World War II. And he honored the fact that because now that I think about it, he may have signed some stuff when he got out saying that he was still on call for however many years. You never know. Uh, I just know myself, and World War II was the big one. And if you really went over there to the theater and you did your thing and you came back in one piece, at least for the most part, yeah, we might need you again. And they did. Courage. The man was given the choice to go either to the army and serve or go to jail. That was it. Right on. So he may have told him, hey, look, I did my time. I don't know how this stuff played out, but I'm just giving y'all different perceptions. I did my time, right? Okay, I'll go back and I'll do another tour. That's the courage. And then commitment. The commitment of I will make sure I come back home. I didn't go to Italy. I didn't go to North Africa. I didn't go to any of those places and fight, right on, and kill and do unthinkable things just for you guys to tell me I have to go somewhere else and do the same thing and possibly might get killed. No. Mm-mm. I'm going to make it home and I'm going to relax. Hallelujah. And that's the blessing. Now, that's a small example of honor, courage, commitment. A greater one is a man named George when he was born. He was born as George. And rumor has it, he was actually napped, taken away, stolen His mother and his sister were never to be returned, but he was. This was during the very end, they say, of the Civil War. Getting to the end of it. 1864 coming into 1865. And I don't know. I don't know what really happened. I don't know if old boy sold his mother and his sister and just said that so that way it seemed like I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just speculating. But let's just assume that he was kidnapped, as they say, right, as a little baby, as a little infantile, and was somehow found and recovered. Man, God was with him. This dude's story is already like Moses and stuff. You know what I mean? He's special, special, but honor. Mm. I'm gonna start with the Carver family, and then I'm gonna go back to George. They were honorable enough to go look for him. That wasn't, oh, this is my property, blah blah blah. No, they could have let it go. It's one less mouth to feed, right? Now, if George's father was a special man, nah, we need him, right? We need him because that's what you do. When you have somebody like, for example, if you have a prize bull or you have like a really high level equestrian or stud horse or a prize sheep, right? Um, a racing pigeon, um, uh, what else is there? Maybe even like one of those exotic dogs or exotic cats, exotic birds, right? But like something, an animal that has a pedigree. We could even use like those giant rats that they use to find mines that are bred in Africa, right? Exclusively, I believe they're huge. They're huge. They're like the size of a small dog. They are. They're bigger than New York rats, and they sniff out mines all over the earth. Anyhow, uh, if you have a certain pedigree you're looking for, and let's say one offspring didn't exhibit it or it showed it in other ways, but you're like, no, I'm looking for this part of it, right? The blessing is then to wait for there to be another offspring, but you can't let that get away. So this is why people used to kill. This is why you could get hung for stealing somebody's horse back in the day. Like I need y'all to understand. Like let's talk about it real quick. And we're gonna get back to honor, courage, commitment. But like this is a lesson within the lesson. So let's talk about it. Back in the day, right? This is why this is a killable offense. This is an offense punishable by death. Not only is that your life. Let's say you're a famous herder, right? You produce studs that are, for whatever reason, they just have a really good communication level with the cows, all that shit. And you guys are able to get more done with these horses than you are with any other horses. Okay, somebody steals your prize horse. Listen, they just stole your livelihood. They just stole generational livelihood because this might be a horse from a horse that your father got, that your grandfather got, right on. So it's deeper than that, and people don't look at it like that. Horses weren't cheap, not a good one. Anything worth it is not cheap, y'all. We all know that. That's the way it goes. It's been like that since day one. Okay, the best fruit is typically highest up. Let's be real. The best fruit in the tree is typically highest up. You got to work to get that. You can let it fall, but it might be overly ripe, or you know what I mean. You might not be there when it falls out the tree, so now it's just in the soil, right? Or in what I mean. It's becoming fertilizer. Point being this: if a person has such a quality to them that you need that quality, you will do anything to keep that within your grasp. It is only understandable. It's like uh uh um is that Rumpelstiltskin where the old girl is doing the silk? The golden silk or whatever it is. I forget what it is. I think that's the Rumpelstiltskin. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm saying like this: you want to keep getting the best out of whatever it is you get. And George was the byproduct of a man who we'll never know. We'll never. You see what I'm saying? Like, we look at him and say he's great, but guess how great his father or grandfather or great grandfather really could have been. You see what I'm saying? That true life hero on the plantation. You know, might have even been renowned amongst the white folks. You never know. So it's just one of those things where you have to have the mind to understand. You know what I mean? You have to have the mind to look at it and think about it. And so now, because they were honorable enough to go get George and do this, they said, okay. They realized that when he was young, he had a high aptitude for plants, but that he just, not that he couldn't work in the field, they just didn't want to break him like that. They were like, nah, he was a genius. Like what Stephen likes to call me, George Carver really was, which was like a real life prodigy. Like if I ever was, there's scant evidence. For him, it was like day one proof because his skills were cultivated. You know what I mean? His abilities were cultivated. Uh, he was called the plant doctor by the tender age of like 6 or 8 or something. He was a little dude, the plant doctor as a little boy. I need y'all to understand the courage it took for those people, the Carver family, to tell George, you need to go to college. Come on, come on. And then the commitment to that, to tell him to stay committed, was even greater. Because you do know that when he was 16 years old, he went and applied for college. His name was George Carver. They're thinking this is a white guy. When he shows up, it's a dark-skinned black man. They're like, whoa, bro. Ah, nah. We don't do that around here. So for roughly 14, 15 years, he traveled around. He went to the Midwest. This is how he learned everything he learned. He learned about, once again, I'm giving people a free life lesson, history lesson. Okay. His honor, because George Carver's honor starts day one, but there's a particular moment where I believe that we can say surely that his honor is man, unquestionable. All right. The ability to be honorable. So he goes all around. He's in Iowa and all that stuff. He's in it, like I said, he's all through the Midwest. He tries his hand at farming at a bunch of different places. He helps these places get their arid, rundown soil back to healthy. He figures this out. He's using a wide variety of products to do so. And what is implemented for the first known time in history? I'm not talking about what people say, what their conjecture, extolation, field rants. Okay, I'm not talking about the hyperbolic, nonsensical drivel that they have spewing from their mouths. I'm talking about the real. Okay, at this point, whatever you want to say. So he's born in 1864, 1880-ish. He gets turned down 1890, 1894. He's at the universities, but before all this, pause all that real quick, stop all that real quick. He's mastered his craft. Like if you've ever watched a movie of a guy go somewhere and like learn and learn and learn and learn and learn, this is George Carver. He's exceptional. He's truly exceptional at what he does. And people see it, they recognize it, and they tell him this. But at the same time, he's figuring out ways to do things. He's a real life genius. George Carver, so honorable. so courageous, so committed that he never stopped in his pursuit of greater learning. George Carver attempted to undo the effects of slavery. Let me explain. If the United States had implemented what George Carver was doing all over the United States, all places where cotton, tobacco, indigo, and what else was they growing outside of that cotton and tobacco and that indigo? Mm, mm, mm. Maybe some barley and wheat from here and there, but those are natural. Those are natural and normal. There's probably a couple of off-brand products that they were growing that I just can't think of right now to further espouse and explode just how big that really is. Like this stuff strips the soil of all of its good stuff, all of it, and the best stuff that the soil has to produce is nitrogen. So when you don't have enough nitrogen in the soil, naturally it won't produce. What's this have to do with anything? The Dust Bowl. Surely people remember that. I'm saying. Surely people remember the Dust Bowl. Surely people remember that, right? Surely they say, well, Meach, that was because all the land was dry. Because of what? What caused that to happen? That's right. Right, slavery. See, he tried to undo all that, you know what I'm saying? By just telling them, like, all you have to do is grow these. If they had started to grow soy, yams, sweet potato, peanuts, all over the place, right? All over the and peas. Peas are also a good contributor of nitrogen back to the soil. Had they started to grow those all over and just done it willfully. See, but first you got to get black people who know how to do this stuff because right, they're the only ones who really know how to do it. I'm trying to break it down. Back in that time, they were the only real skilled people like that. Right. Other groups have learned things since they've come up here and learned from us. It's not the same as, oh, they always had it like this. No, they didn't. A lot of these people used to be, man, Mexico used to be starving all over the place, man. What y'all talking about? Still people starving all over the place down there, but it used to be way worse back in the day. And they had the same fertile lands way back then that they do now. Come on. Come on, let's tell the truth. So when you have a gentleman like George, who was born with one name, who the carvers honorably said, you know what, he's a carver. He's one of us. He's a carver now. We're gonna give him a last name because typically, you know, niggas only had one name their whole life, and that was it. I mean, people like downplay that, but like just listen to what I just said. Black people used to only have one name their whole life. So you know how those dudes over there in the Middle East be? That was our life. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's it. You got one name. That's it. They got a whole name. Right. Just one of those things to make you feel incomplete. One of those things to make you feel inadequate and lesser than. And they didn't do that to him. They didn't raise him up to be like a slave-minded dude. They raised him up thinking. They raised him up so that way he could always conquer the situation. Now, back to George though, right? In particular, where he's figured out all these things. Later on in his life, he comes to tell people, like, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter what kind of car you have, the house you live in, doesn't matter what kind of clothes you wear. Right on. He's like, none of that matters. He's like, all that matters is that you know that you did good and that, you know, that like you really did your best. But you did good though. You did the right thing. And this is what George was trying to break down, you know, way back when he was trying to tell these guys, hey, look, do this. George is so honorable that while he's a professor, he's recruited during World War I. okay, by one Booker T. Washington. That's right, Booker T. Washington. And he literally, he didn't grovel, but he told the man, look, your services would be like greatly needed. And, man, we would love for you to help us. But things like this sweet potato here, right? This is a real one. He was able to go and take, I need y'all to see this. This is a sweet potato, right? This is a sweet potato. Potato. 1 second. With these things right here, can y'all believe with yams and sweet potatoes? Yeah, this is a sweet potato. Don't worry, I'm cooking this. Cooking this later. Can y'all believe that with these same type of products, he was able to help make the first tracer rounds? He was able to make dyes for their uniforms. Yeah, critical. Blue, red, green, purple, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, even yellow, obviously yellow. But you guys get what I'm saying, though. He was able to derive all these different colors from the sweet potatoes and the yams. Are you guys hearing? He didn't fire one shot and literally helped them win, or at least help them perceivably win World War One. His efforts in World War One are undeniably some of the reasons why America was able to topple uh, the Kremlin, along with the other so-called ABC forces. You know, so that's just what it is. Okay, that's just what it is. Like, and I do believe it was called the ABC powers or something like that, like way back then. You know, um, uh, but that's neither here nor there. That's just me talking. Now, back to George. He's so honorable, listen, so courageous and so committed. He said, you know what, bro? To Booker T. He said, man, I love you so much for bringing me in on this, man. Your name, Washington. I'm saying, right? I'm taking that. Yeah. hmm Right. And I'm going to put that in the middle of my name. I want to be George Washington Carver. Right on? I want to be your brother. That's like saying, like, I just want to, like, say, like, I was part of your thing, your clique, your crew, your tribe. Right on? Your clan. It's deep and people don't get it. You know what I mean? So people don't automatically, they should, but they don't automatically associate George Washington Carver with Booker T. Washington. And you should. When you bring up one man, you should automatically think of the other. But that's not how it works. Anyhow, Booker T would again, Mr. Washington would again come to Brother Carver and say, Brother Carver, I know you went back to that university making that good old university money. Check me out. This is not what he said exactly, but I'm paraphrasing my way. Check me out. My brother, I would be so delighted and I would be so esteemed if you would grace us and bless us with your presence and your knowledge. For this isn't about the fate of American society, but this is about the fate of the Black man, woman, and child in this nation. And without reservation, hesitation, okay, without anything like that, he said, head first, let's go. And this was when the Jessup wagon would be invented. The first mobile classroom. Yep, the Jessup wagon. And he would teach and sow the seeds of understanding to an unknowable number of impoverished black people. But I'm sure there were white folks who came around to listen to the plant doctor himself, because it's not every lifetime you get around a real life prophet blessed by the Most High God. Because that man was blessed by the Most High God. He was a true real life prophet. If there's ever been any this side of Jesus, this side of the Christ, if you believe in all that, this side for sure of Moses, if you want to talk greasy, right? I can guarantee you, he's most definitely put him on that list. A real prophet, a real saint doesn't have to hurt people. He didn't hurt anyone ever in his life. That's what everybody should want to do. But he was willing to take his abilities and use them in a militant fashion. So by no means is he a coward. He is all the way courageous. Thank you. The man dedicated himself to the betterment of black people to the day he died. Do you know Gandhi? That's right, Gandhi. The dude who they say is a racist, the might as well could have been. The same dude who tried to shit on the Bible by saying an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Clearly, he never read the Bible. Clearly, he never read that if a person, if a master, pluck out their servant's eye, right on, to let his servants go for their eye's sake. Right on? If he were to knock out one of their teeth, to let them go for their tooth's sake. Right. Because in reverence, you can't expect the master to do that to themselves. They're the master. Right? But because you did that to them, let them go if you're a real righteous master. Yeah. See, because you know you did wrong, so let them go. However, you got guys like Gandhi, haters of the Most High God, who had to bend at the knee. See, this is why I know that there's a Most High God. There is the Most High God in heaven, and there is nothing likened to him. Period. How I know this is because all the people who don't believe end up needing the people that do believe. Tell me how that works. No. Think about that for a second. They're on demon time. They're ready to rob, kill, steal, murder, maim, rape, lie, deceive, all that, swindle, all that, hornswoggle, hoodwink. They ready to do it all, right? And so I always think it's weird that you have these dudes who are so committed to the evil, but yet they always end up needing somebody who truly believes in the Most High God. Not a halfway, sideways stepping coward, okay, who's afraid of their own shadow. That being said, the honor, courage, and commitment it took for George Carver to tell black people, listen, he didn't, I can read between the lines. He was like, most black people are not smart enough to grow soy. I'm gonna give him the easiest one. Okay, grow these peanuts. See what y'all do. Oh, damn, y'all grew hella peanuts. And now we don't know what to do because they're not a genius like you. Right on? But they pulled out all of his genius. What if he had showed him how to grow that soy and all that? See what I'm saying? He should have thought more of them. He should have thought more of them. He didn't. That was high-minded. People are like, how do you know that? Because he explained that that soy, while it had the greatest yield of nitrogen back to the soil, it was the most complicated one to grow. This is why black people grow yams and sweet potatoes instead, though. Right on. Some black people grow soy. Some black people in the South do grow their own soy, I'm sure. But most of them grow their own yams and their own sweet potatoes, their own peas, right? You see what I'm saying? The easy stuff. But I'm saying he should have wanted them to get smart. Like I'm a I'm a just force it on him, I guess. But he didn't. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's a party foul in a way, though. It is a party foul because I tell y'all everything. If you disagree or just all out or like this nigga's crazy, guess what? That's okay. I'm not gonna hold it back. The things that I don't tell you are like, the G14 classified type of stuff. Like I keep that close to the vest because I understand that everybody won't understand. Everybody won't get it. They won't see it for the baseline simple factors of what it is. They'll try to make something else out of it. No disrespect. I don't have time for that. But Mr. Carver said these things right here. And yams, hmm and peas, and soy, and peanuts all produce great amounts of nitrogen back to the soil. The black people forced the they forced a real moment of all of his genius, I believe, that he really had available out of his persons, where he got to test out this to see what you could really use peanut for. Do you guys know that before George Carver, there was no peanut industry? Planters, peanuts, all that stuff is all based on George Carver. Did you know that he didn't get one red penny of that while he was alive? And by the time he died, it was a $38 million a year industry. By the time he died, it was a $38 million a year industry. Listen, listen. George Carver he was a saint. Maybe he seen that, but he should have told black people how to pack it. Or you see what I'm saying? Like was he afraid of the government stealing that too? I don't know. Without him saying it, he could have very well have been speculative or something like that. But the honor, courage, and commitment it took for this man to sit down in the lab and say, he said, I'm not gonna let these peanuts go bad. I got this. The man coming out with shampoos and creams and toothpaste and obviously peanut butters, right on, and all sorts of other useful everyday things that you could do with these peanuts that to this day they don't do for whatever reason. Let that sink in, people. Let that sink in. And they can say, "Oh, a bunch of people have peanut allergies." Most black people don't. That's white people who be allergic to peanuts like that on everything. I know a couple of black people who are allergic to like tree nuts or something like that, but I'm not allergic to nothing. I can eat whatever I want. I just don't eat whatever I want. Uh, some of that stuff will break your body out anyway after you don't eat it for a while because your body's like fighting off like toxins that it hasn't had. So it's like but there's no need to put yourself in those kind of positions. There's no need to be eating unclean food, but there's no need to put yourself in a position where your body, if you've gone 15 years not eating seafood, all of a sudden your body might have developed an allergy to it. Say just don't take the risk. But if you're like me and you're like, I can eat whatever I want, it's not even like that. It's just I'm just not gonna eat it. But that's the real. That's the truth. George Carver brought a level of understanding to this earth that since him nobody has. Like there has yet to be anybody on his level. All these other dudes, like, listen to me. If what you do has to be destructive, if what you do has to deplete something of everything that it has, you're not a genius. You can't be. It's impossible. One of my one of my biggest pet peeves is when people try to act like somebody who never did anything for anybody, didn't move the needle, didn't change nothing, is really somebody that we should look at and esteem and act like they're really, nigga, please. Okay? Nigga, please. That's how I feel. Because that's backwards thinking. This man stood on the principle of being the best that he could be. He stayed in his lane his whole life. He honored whatever his lane was. I'm sure he could have been a millionaire if he was just a cutthroat, dirty ass nigga. How do you think all those people who get that money, there's something, listen, unless you getting oil money from Texas, and there are black people who do, getting, $3,000-4,000 a month in in real life royalties. Word. I've known people. I have known people. So it's not impossible. I'm just saying like this. Most black people don't have that kind of money not doing something that they ain't got no business doing. At least once or twice. At least once or twice. Right on? Most black females don't want to say they probably did some nasty shit to get way up where they got. Right on? They don't want to say that. They don't want to say like, yeah, I did a sexual favor for somebody and that launched that was the launch pad. Did she keep doing sexual favors? Who knows? But the fact that you did one, or it's just, we know how this shit really works out. What merit can somebody have that the greatest thing you can do is produce a child? That's your greatest contribution to society, to the earth. It's a wonderful, beautiful one, underrated one, because women underrated. Right. You see what I'm saying? I'm supposed to believe that. So for a brother like George Carver, who nobody I know could measure up to this guy's genius, none of the faceless cowards can measure up to his genius. I don't give a fuck what they say, because face to face, I'll knock those niggas' teeth out, and they know. And this they know. You reach for the blick, and I'm gonna take it from you. Like that's that. We're on that kind of time. Where none of those niggas is fucking with George Carver. None of their so-called idols, heroes, none of them. Martin Luther King has nothing on George Carver, my nigga. Without George Carver, there is no MLK. The nigga produced a lifestyle for people in the South to have something. This dude is a walking, the greatest American hero, the greatest. Not even honor, courage, commitment. He is that's who he is. By each one of those words in the dictionary, if you wanted to have his face by honor, courage, and commitment, man, you could have it by everything. That means something righteous. Because George Carver did that much. And don't nobody want to say, I'm the only one to ever really come out and like gloat about the greatest American hero being a guy who never fired a shot, the greatest saint that we've known to live this side of the Christ. Yes, there has not been nobody fucking with him. Nobody. This side of the Christ. Nobody. It's not even close. Who? Who was more benevolent while they lived? Name one person. This man didn't want nothing to do with the war. They came and got him because they're like, this nigga's hellish. He's the smartest. At the time, it was believed he was the smartest black man in America. Y'all don't want to hear that. But really, it was believed he was the smartest black man in the world. They're never going to tell you that. Like when he lived, they were like, this dude might be the smartest guy walking around on the whole earth. Just on basic level principle. This dude's genius is retarded. It's stupid. But they would rather sequester. They would rather hamper. They would rather what's that word? What's that word, man? Bound or bind the ability and the natural intellect of certain individuals. I could care less about the FBI. I give a fuck about what they think about a black messiah. Fuck them, they mama, the daddy, and the tiny ass pony they rode in on, nigga. How about that? Fuck them. I'm not worried about I'm not worried about that. Let's just look at the destruction of the fact that people have not had resources allocated to them properly. So the fullness of their abilities never ever. We're talking about the difference of thousands of dollars being pumped into a place. Maybe this guy doesn't make a decision that changed his life, that person's life, and these people's life forever. Little differences. We're talking about minute things here. But if they actually did what they were supposed to do, look at the kind of support. Look at the kind of support they give a place like Ukraine. Imagine if a man like George Carver had the budget of money that the equivalent of money that they gave to Ukraine, if they gave him that kind of budget, what he would have been able to do for black people in the South. White people would have benefited off tops. That's how it works in this country. Because black people get it, we blow it up to the point to where everybody wants to be around it. Everybody wants to see what's the big deal. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? We're the big deal. We can't help it. Some of us can. Some of us can't. I don't try to help if they like me or don't like me. I gives a flying. You know what? No. Like this dude said, I just I just gave away my last fuck. I'm all out of fucks to give. Okay? I just gave away my last one. My bad. I lied. So if you're like me and you just don't have any more to give, you gave them all. Right on? All the fucks you had to give, you gave away already. Right. That's where I'm at with it. It's like, I don't care what you're talking about. What you're talking about means nothing to me. It's again nonsensical drivel being spewed from their lunatic, maniacal, diabolical, odious, insidious, treacherous, lecherous mouths. These motherfuckers deserve every bad thing they get. They deserve every bad thing they get. They ain't never did nothing for their people. They cowards. Cowards. They could never. What George Carver did was he made it to where black people didn't starve to death during the Dust Bowl. Because if white folks is going to be starving to death, niggas are going to be starving to death for sure, for sure. Right. So the fact that he was able to lessen the blow on all the Midwest, all his work he did, undid generations of negligence to the land. And that's the best way I can put it. But if you don't believe me, just go look up for yourself all the land conservation efforts from the early 1900s. Look at the stuff that Theodore Roosevelt himself was doing as a president, the first president ever to have preserved land, to conserve the land. Look it up if you don't believe me. And guess who you get? That's right. Guess that's thank you. That's who he got it from. Your boy George Carver. People will be like, how do you know? Who else would have? Who else do you think they got the information from? He was the one who told these dudes how to fix the soil. It's just not profitable for them to do it like that. See, when cotton was king, people forget that. When cotton was king, when cotton had a crown on his head, right? That was made out of cotton, right? When cotton was king, you hear? Back then, they weren't trying to, you couldn't tell nobody nothing like that. Even if a slave was like, this ain't gonna produce nothing next year. They didn't care. And then they still get mad at the nigga for the shit not producing, even though he knows the nigga said the shit not gonna produce. This is part of this is a symptom, not just of living, but just of being in this land and living, where you have whole groups of individuals who are the children of people who didn't have to do anything for the land to get this way. And I've been saying this the longest. I have videos where I smash Pan-Africanism to nothing because it's not beneficial. Right. Why didn't Africa want to talk to George Carver and speak to him? Do you know why? Niggas is jealous. They'd rather have the Indians. They'd rather have a person from India who said they learned from Gandhi, who learned from him to tell them how to do certain stuff. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like we're dealing with individuals who are literally like they do not get it. George Carver's the reason why China's a billion strong and going. India's a billion strong and going. Yeah, all those dudes who don't know nothing about nothing, who didn't know nothing about nothing. Yeah, George Carver put them on, and they mad about it. They're mad about it. But wouldn't you be mad though if you were dishonorable? I'm saying if you were a coward, right? And I'm when I say a coward, I mean sniveling coward. And the worst of all, you had lackluster conviction. Because that's what commitment is conviction. If your follow through is conviction. He slapped the other man with extreme conviction. Yeah, commitment, same word. Follow through, same word. But each different word, I mean, it's the same thing, but each different word gives a slight different picture in the mind. Yeah. So the conviction versus the commitment versus the follow through. Wise man once told me, he said, if I had, he said, I ain't gonna kiss nobody's ass, and I wouldn't kiss my own ass if I had a rubber neck. So I'm not in here kissing my own ass. I'm not in here kissing George Carver's ass. I'm just telling people what it is. The man, the man's level of honor, courage, commitment is unmatched. I said I'm trying to get to these levels where it's like they can no longer deny me, and they'll deny me for now. But I put the time in way more ways than one. Finish this little book right here, the little health guard joint, right? I'm gonna read it probably another one or two times, maybe two or three more times, but for sure at least once more and a half, and skim through. And interesting information, right? Interesting. I'm gonna go all the way to chapter 6. And I'm gonna read some of these questions to you, and I want you guys to hear this. No, first I'm gonna read this, okay? Then I'm going to. There we go. Then I'm going to break it down to you how this is so important. See, food has an honor, courage, commitment relationship, synergy. If you're honorable enough to do certain things, you'll be courageous enough to not do certain things, right on, and you'll be committed to the first two in repetition. So, if you always wash your hands after touching your face, right on, like I mean, I don't touch my face when I'm at work, but if you say your nose itch, and you all right, go wash your hands. It's basic shit. Right on. Like who gives a fuck if you cleaned and took a shower today and no one gives a fuck about none of that. Go wash your hands. Word. We have to touch somebody's food. See, it's hygienic things like that. Sometimes stuff happens where people get ready to sneeze, right? And they'll catch it. And they'll put their go wash your hands. Even if you didn't sneeze, just go wash your hands anyway. Word. Yeah. Like, but listen to this. The four types of cockroaches most commonly found in North America are the American, German, Oriental, and brown banded cockroaches. The most common cockroach found in a food establishment is the German cockroach. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read something to y'all so that way you guys can understand what I'm getting at right here, real quick. And this is about pestilence. Cockroaches are another type of pest often found in food establishments. Cockroaches avoid well lit areas and tend to hide in dark, warm, moist environments. Cockroaches reproduce rapidly and may build up a resistance to some insecticides. They may nest inside hollow spaces in walls, ceilings, and food equipment. Cockroaches have also been known to hide inside corrugated cardboard. Like flies, cockroaches carry many pathogenic bacteria and contaminate food. The four types of cockroaches most commonly found in North America are the American, German, Oriental, and brown banded cockroach. The most common cockroach found in food establishments in the United States is the German cockroach. Cockroaches usually come out when it's dark. If you see a cockroach during the day, you may have a serious infestation. The signs of cockroach infestation include small capsule shaped eggs and droppings that resemble grains of pepper. Glue traps placed on the floor under equipment or can be used as a monitor for the presence of cockroaches. To prevent and control cockroach infestations in a food establishment, eliminate their food sources, restrict their entry, and eliminate areas inside the establishment where they can hide or nest. Keep the floors, walls, and surfaces of equipment clean and free of food debris. Did you hear that? Honor, courage, commitment. People are like, what you mean? So first off, if you're honorable, meaning you do what it just said to do, right? Cleaning the floor when it's keeping the debris off the floor, making sure that there's no food junk lying around, stuff like that, right? Things that they can get on, right? So when it's like that, when you have that kind of dynamic and they're telling you what to do already, you have to expect for it to be what it is, you know, and you have to really appreciate it, because yeah. What's good, man? What's up, brother? But no, because it's saying right there to keep the floor clean, keep your equipment clean, keep everything clean. If you honor that, right? Boom. Now here goes the courage part. In a food establishment, things get dirty throughout the day, but the courage to say I'm gonna do this anyway. Yeah, they're going to complain about labor. Yeah, they're going to complain about me getting overtime. Yeah, they're going to complain about all that. But when they see the back end of the work, I keep everything clean. I keep everything nice. I keep everything neat. I keep everything organized. I keep everything proper. I rotate my product the right ways. You know what I'm saying? Uh, oh man, yeah, bro. Man, it's been a while, big bro. It's been a hot minute, man, since the Google Plus days. Yeah, man, they had to shut Google Plus down. It was there was too much information being spread too fast. Now they can monitor it easier on social media, you know, because it's a more open platform. Google Plus was a lot more exclusive, so like cliques of people could literally share information amongst each other, and they didn't like that. Google didn't like that. They like for people to have to share it and put it out there so that way everybody can respond to it and people can try to shun you for what you believe in. Weirdo shit. But but still, bro, this joint has been about. I've been going on right for a minute, but let me catch you up real quick. So I've been talking about George Carver in particular, uh, honor, courage, and commitment because honor. as it said, was the high esteem or high respect or the adherence to an obligation. And it was also seen as, again, respect, but then it's also seen as somebody upholding something, right? Somebody keeping to something. And so when I think of honor, I think of obligatory responsibilities. The reason why fathers don't ask to be praised, no, and I'm not shunning mothers. Being a woman must be difficult, and being a single mother must be even more difficult. So I'm not going to shun y'all on that. I'm just going to say this: men don't ask for people to pat them on the back for being a righteous father, or for just being a righteous man in general, a righteous brother. Right on? They don't ask for that because at the end of the day, that's your responsibility as a man. So all I'm doing is honoring what I'm supposed to do. I don't need anybody to validate me honoring what I know I'm supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that would be like people clapping for somebody if they say, "Yeah, I wiped my backside after I had a bowel movement." It's like, who cares, bro? Like, that's up to you. If you want to walk around like that all day, that's on you. But if you want to be clean, then you're gonna get that right. But we live in a society where it's backwards. It's all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Whichever way, it's not down the line. It's not straight right down the pipes. It's not how it is anymore. And it used to kind of sort of be like that, but now it's not. And people lack the honor part. They lack the ability to uphold something. In order to have a really clean food establishment, you'd have to uphold keeping it clean in the first place. You'd have to have the courage to keep it clean when it's super duper busy. I'm gonna give you a prime example, man. Uh, uh, a famous burger spot that should have got shut down. They should have canceled those. They should have canceled their ass New Jack City style because what happened was this: this dude, longtime customer, forever time customer, went in there, got his usual, a double cheeseburger and a damn chocolate shake. Dude got listeria from their shake machine and died because they weren't cleaning their machine the right way. I will never get another shake from nowhere ever in my life. I'll make it. Before I get a chocolate, before I get a shake, I do not order shakes. I don't want nobody ordering me. No, I'm good. Since then, I've been good on that. Mm-mm. It won't be me because they're not honorable, right on. They're not courageous and they're not committed. And because of that, because they have, and this goes back to that $2 leadership joint I dropped not too long ago. You know, you have $2 leaders in these places that are literally allowing for these things to happen. And this is any job. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. I've worked in warehouses. I've worked in like corporate style type of buildings. You know what I'm saying? So I know different ways that things happen and things go down, but it's really no different if we do what we're supposed to do, no matter what, and I mean no matter what, we'll be okay. Now, if the highest level management is not honorable by either creating an environment, right, where we can actually do the task that we're being asked to do, even under the most duress and pressure filled situations, then they're not doing their job as a manager. You know, brother, I appreciate you, man, just for being here, man. Just to see, it's been a long time in the evolution chamber here. Had to really relax. I'm still me, but I just had to relax, man. I had to relax. I I'm just gonna just take it easy. I'm not gonna worry about the thing. I mean, I didn't really worry too hard these last 10, 11 years of my life, but like when I was like much younger, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to like get, worked up. But I'm um I'm okay with I'm okay with where everything is at right now. because there's people who have it better and there's people who have it worse. And that's how it's always going to be. And because I can tell myself that, and because I know that, it's going to be okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, I guess to the sense that I would want whatever my mind tells me, whatever my soul and my spirit know is a favorable outcome, I would appreciate that. That would be lovely. But an unfavorable outcome where I'm able to walk away is still just as good. It's a learning lesson, and it's just another reason to thank the Most High God for being so kind and so merciful. But people supposed to mature. You would want it. That's the that's what. Well, yeah. You got to have a good mind. Yeah, yeah. You got to relax, man. And I know it's different for everybody's going through different stuff, bro. I get it. But it's just like, let me apply honor, courage, commitment to the streets. If these brothers were were really ready to uphold what they think are the values that they should have on the streets, let me go ahead and say two things. Number one, these guys wouldn't be running around here trying to sleep with any and everybody's woman. Right on. Number two, right? They wouldn't think that infractions like white collar crimes, like stealing people's money, like, okay, you didn't put the pistol on them and take it. You schemed them out the money, but that's no less devious, and that'll make a person no less want to hurt you. Until number two with that right there, so that they got to clean up the act, right? And it's like, I'm working my way, man. I'm working my way. I'm working my way, brother. I really am. I appreciate you for giving me, you know, the encouragement and the foresight to keep doing what's needed to be done. Straight up, you know. Um, I really do. I really do appreciate it, brother. And he did give us the blueprint. He showed us all, but that's what I'm saying. The young dudes out here running around in the streets, you can't run around threatening everybody, acting like you're gonna shoot up the place every time stuff don't go your way. Uh, you can't walk around with a scowl on your face all day. Smile. Word. You sending negative signals to your body. This is why these dudes is 23 and 24 and falling out dead. They walk around stressed to the highest level, body tensed up all the time. Just relax, man. But I get it. I understand. And there used to be a time where I probably would have agreed with being like that. But it's just I can I can stay safe and stay dangerous at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, uh everybody can do that. And I think it's just knowing when you have to act and knowing when to hold back. But they haven't learned nothing like that yet. The honor, courage, commitment is not there. They'd have to really be willing to be broke. Like they'd have to willing to like really like not have money for months, months and months and months and months on end, while they're trying to really figure out how to get a job, how to really get their hustle going. You know, man, no, they're not, brother. They're not resigned. They're not resigned to that, bro. And it's sad because it's fine. It's fine. Do they realize uh a king is still a servant of the people? And the moment the king fails, they talking off with his head, stone him, hang him, drag him with horses, all kinds of stuff. Tomato this dude, egg him, all of it, right? Kill him and the whole house. They ready to take him out. So now I just feel like these young dudes just need somebody to just tell them like, hey man, we get it, I get it, but y'all need to really relax because just like that situation down there in Memphis. I wish I could explain to those dudes how what they're doing is necromancy. Right on. If they had killed all these people right when it first happened, totally understand. It's an immediate act of retribution. And people can say there's no time frame on get back, this, that, and the other. Follow me. It's been years. The man is gone. He's not coming back. They could kill 1,000 people and not bring the man back. Man, he gone. And he ain't coming back. And no matter what you do, it won't bring him back. And all you're going to do is make it to where now for the rest of your days, you will not be able to live in any kind of comfort. Because guess what? The people that you're killing have people that love them too. That's just the way it goes. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Somebody's going to do something to somebody else. And the unfortunate part is, as opposed to the people saying, you know what? If we can't let this be, we all need to separate. It's not about somebody looking weak. It's not about somebody getting punked out. It's not about none of that. Because the same way that they say that they don't care and they ready to crash out and all this stupid nonsense, they have no honor, courage, or commitment when it comes to the police on that same level. Like 99% of them. Like a small handful of dudes, typically older people who are 30, 35 and up, you know what I'm saying, might really get down and like sit down, like, like how they say in boxing, how they say sitting down on their punches, you know what I mean? Like they really might really take time to really aim, you know, get the weapon right. You know what I'm saying? Like they really might do all that. I'm not saying that the young dudes don't do none of that. I'm just saying that they don't live like that. They don't live like a trained individual. They live like somebody who's just impetuous, hella impulsive. And I'm not gonna sit here and say how young Dolph was living was popping, brother. I'm not gonna say how Dolph was living was a reason to kill him. I'm just gonna say this: he wouldn't be the first man to get killed for laying with somebody else's woman. See what I'm saying? Right. See, one thing you don't do, and anybody who's ever done business knows this. Let's say me and brother Mike we're supposed to do a contract job, right? Boom. I say we go out, we do the bid. The bid is for, I don't know, $250,000 over 2.5 months. Gonna probably take about 10 workers to get done. Okay, check me out. Let's say that I have somebody on the crew who I don't like, right? And I'm like, man, this dude, he's garbage. And then we bring in another dude who I'm like, hey, man, I want you to work. I want you to work with us. We don't have to watch out. We don't have to watch you like we have to watch these other guys. The man not knowing the context of, yeah, I'm not going to tell them that around them because they're going to get upset. The same thing a parent does to any child. When you have something to say about that child, you typically, unless you're addressing an issue with them, you don't want them in the room because you don't want them to get defensive and to start acting a fool because children do this. However, point being this: if that individual who we invite on goes out and tells people, man, this guy was pretty much down in his own people. In the business world of contracting, where nobody's gonna like kill you, you will never be working with us, union or non-union, ever again. You will never get a chance to work with us. Believe that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, but in the streets it's different. It's not like, oh, this dude smashing my ex and whatever, my baby mama, and he's talking. See what I'm saying? You can't do all that. That's moving sideways and backwards. And I don't care how many people love you. A bunch of people loved Hitler. So what? Believe it or not, a bunch of people love Saddam Hussein. So what? People love Pablo Escobar. So what? What does that mean? What does that mean because people love you? There's people who love Trump. You think all the people who love Trump are good people? And I'm not comparing Dolph to none of the people I just brought up. I'm just letting y'all know that there's people who are loved on this earth right now in life and in their death. And some of them were not savory people. So don't get upset. Don't get mad because it's the truth. Bro lived a certain kind of life. He felt he was doing whatever he was going to do. Everybody want to say whatever. I'm the first kind of person to say if you got that kind of money, you need security. I'm the first dude to say it. Right. These last 2 years, these guys are just now starting to catch on. You need actual security. Yeah, bro, you're gonna make $1 million this year. I mean, I'm thinking anywhere from 75 to 100K is spent on security. 10% of what I make is worth has to be has everything I make is worth my life. So 10% of it, perceivably, year over year, if that's what it takes, is worth me staying alive. That's anybody who knows anything knows that. Having said that, though, they lack honor, they lack courage, they lack commitment. So they won't fight against the same police who they claim kill them every day, the same police who they claim bring in the dope that they're selling every day. They lack that. They lack that. They lack that. I'm not saying for them to go out there and bang it out with the police because I know they can't win. I'm just saying that it would be way more honorable if that was their stance. That would be way more honorable. We're we're fighting you because we believe you're bringing in the dope. Yeah, of course, the adversary. But see that's the point. That's the point, though. They're supposed to give you a chance to do it. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that these dudes in the neighborhood do, it would make way more sense if it was like real life freedom fighters versus the scum of our neighborhoods, but it's not. A lot of the time it's scum on scum violence, and sometimes it's some good dudes who get caught in the middle, biting off more than they can chew, really not being built for that type of stuff. Like, I don't know if these dudes understand, like, God is not getting off the throne. He's not getting off the throne to save you. You better fight for your life with everything you got. He's not gonna get off the throne to save. He's not getting off the throne to save me, nobody. And I ain't gonna get mad. You know what I'm saying? Right. I understand. He worked, but see, but that's the point though, bro, is people put themselves in positions where they've been murdered, right? Brothers, brothers who ain't got nothing to do with nothing, putting themselves in positions where they get murdered, get killed, get maimed, forever will never be the same after this. You, we got to know, but we have to know when to be a battle axe, right on. You know what I'm saying? People have to know when to be the sword, the shield, right? We have to know when it's our turn because a battle axe can get broken, a sword can get broken, and a shield can be made defunct. So I I don't want to be the one who's like you said, not resign. Like I said earlier, but like you said, to reiterate, not resign to my station. I don't want to be a battle axe trying to be, if I'm a battle axe, I don't want to play a sword. And if I'm a sword, I don't want to play a battle axe. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a shield, I'm not trying to be either one. Like, and even though a shield is a weapon by definition, it's used to defend, but a shield has an attack purpose to it, which is to bash and to bludgeon your enemy. And all that's right, all in, all in. We're at a point though, bro, where I don't know if the young dudes see what I'm seeing. America's on this backslide, right? No, that's right. I know what you meant, brother. Yeah, he didn't. No, that's right. He didn't because God told him he had too much blood on his hands. Right on. You've shed too much blood in my name, homie. Nah, your son Solomon, he'll do it because he's soft. You know what I mean? You know, he's fragile. He not like that. And I'm not making fun of Solomon. Thank you. Exactly. We all have our role to play, bro. Thank you, bro. And that's all I'm saying is if people could just play their part, and I mean play their part to the fullest of the extent, we would be in a much different position. But they don't want to play their part because they would hate to see Mike be the ruler over the people. They would hate to see Wave is be the ruler over the people. I don't have to be no ruler over nobody. But I'm just saying, you guys get what I mean, though. They would not want it to be none of us. It could be anybody else. It could be one of the guys who they know are going to let them down. It could be one of the guys who they know has a questionable background, but it can't be somebody who's like, I'm actually going to do my best to stand by this word right here. And I only want people the closest to me with the good mind to do the word and have the heart to be honorable, courageous, and committed when that time comes. Because it does no good to do lip service. Man, you you said a mouthful when you said that, bro. You typed you typed a whole life lesson in about a sentence and a half. Okay, that was a life lesson for anybody who. I pray they listen to this all. I pray they hear. Get to this part at least hear it. Identifying and resigning ourselves to our purpose in the Most High is what life is all about. It it don't get no righter. It can't get no righter. Like my boy Chris Tucker said, man. Okay, and Money Talks when they had the diamonds, and he's like, man, it's not right. He's like, man, it don't get no righter. Okay, he never lied. If you got a handful of diamonds and you about to walk away with some, it don't get no righter than this, bro. It can't. Okay, it won't, and it can't. So I'm saying that I just believe that until these dudes realize that you're fake peace, I'm not pushing fake peace. I want peace for people, but I want justice. Oh no, yeah, brother. I appreciate you for summarizing, and putting it in nice in the cliff notes. But that was a beautiful summarization, man. That was awesome. Cause couldn't have said it no better myself. Sure enough. And I ain't talking no BS. I'm being hella serious. Could not have worded that better myself, bro. And that's the thing about all these guys. They're not ready to hand the reins over at a moment's notice to somebody more qualified, more knowledgeable, more experienced, uh, 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 just more able. In that moment. It's like if you work at a place where there's stuff that's high up or something that's really low down, the tall people typically don't mind getting the stuff that's higher up, and the shorter people don't mind typically getting the stuff that's lower down. That's teamwork. When the short person is rebellious towards the assistance, not the help, you didn't ask for help. I'm giving you my assistance. I'm going to get this down so that way you don't hurt yourself on accident. The same way I don't want to hurt my back bending down too far, right? To get some stuff that I feel should be a little higher up. Wow. But we live in an earth where all these little dudes want to be the man. Stiff neck, but you know what though, bro? We're also we're disadvantaged. We're underwhelmingly resourced, right? Um, and we're an overlooked party. We're an overlooked group of people who don't get the same coverage or the same spotlight, limelight, headlines as everybody else does. Because if they had to talk about, oh yeah, and misled, yep, yep, and misled, most definitely misled. I just feel like it's a that constant bombardment on top of the fact that everybody's not even the people. And I'm not talking about the people who are Israel, the people who are the strangers through Israel, the people who are just strangers, the proselytes who believe. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about those that really believe in the Most High and love them. I'm talking about those who people are trying to force these titles on, who don't want to accept it, and people can't accept that. The Most High told us there are those who hate him. I know that's hard. Listen, I know that's hard to believe. Right. The same people who say, how can you hate something that you've never seen? I don't understand it. Think about that. You've never seen him. You only ever heard of him. As far as you know, the only reason why everybody on earth is alive is because of him, and you still hate him because you feel like it should be different without holding to account the angels who were dishonorable, okay, right on, who were cowardly, and who lacked the conviction. No, no, they were convicted of doing what they did, but they lacked the conviction to stay, to hold their hand. The traps, the snares set are from the stranger that's within, the stranger without, set from the devious demonic spirits that live in different frequencies, different spectra. So what people think is not real, just like I would ask anybody, once again, just because the wind is not blowing on you, does that mean the wind is not real? Does that mean that it's fake and it's only real when it blows? Like something's got to give. Satan elevates the position. Well, I mean, okay, well, man, you make a great point right there, bro. You tough. I mean, see, we can deviate now. We didn't got the honor, courage, commitment in, and I can always come back and tie something in. When you say that, you're talking about honor, courage, commitment now, because they went after the least honorable, the least courageous, the least committed to their people, i.e., the reason why they could get Sidney Poitier to play in the roles that they could get him to play in and not Bill Cosby is because Bill Cosby grew up here. Right on? He was born in America. Right on? Raised here. You understand what I mean? He didn't have strong cultural ties to another land. So some of the cognitive dissonance that a man like Sidney Poitier could exhibit in some of his acting and in some of his movies, that's just like the real life nigga Mr. Tibbs would have left Mississippi. Fuck y'all, I'm out of here. That would have been the end of the movie. They would have acted funny, a real nigga would have left. Not staying here and dealing with this shit. Right. But a dude who's trying to prove himself, see, understand. And I'm not knocking nobody from the islands. I'm saying I know this. How I know? Because I know people from other places who were born and raised in America, who they are Americans. They understand the fucking struggle. They get it. Their parents don't understand. Their grandparents damn sure don't understand. But they get it. They get when I go up out of this house, I am a black person. Doesn't matter what I say I am. It does not matter. I am a nigga the moment I leave these walls, I'm a nigga again. Doesn't matter. Right. So when you have people who are like literally like, yo, I would rather do anything. Right. I would rather do anything to be above just being a regular nigga. I'd rather be a token nigga. That's how they feel. So they took the life of a token nigga because they know one day we die. They don't really believe in the Most High God like that. A part of them does because they've been recompensed or they've seen people be recompensed instantaneously. But they don't believe. I know it's sad, bro. Then the brothers who were born in America, listen, this is what makes black people in America the worst kind of sellout. An African can never sell out harder than a nigga born in America. A dude from the islands could never sell out harder than a nigga born in no matter what they do. They might do some sucking shit where you're like, bro, that's a weak ass bitch made move. But check this out though. They weren't born here like you were. They don't understand the nuances like you do. So when you undermine your brother, when you undermine your sister and the little black child on purpose, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard for people to understand why we get so upset with one another. And why, if you look like an American nig, and this is what the dudes from Africa don't get, right on, whether they're Ethiopian or Eritrean or Kenyan or from Nigeria or Zambia or Gambia or wherever they're from, Burkina Faso, wherever you from, okay? Wherever you from, all right? And all the Caribbean diaspora from Belize all the way down to the DR, okay, all the way down to damn Central America, Guatemala, and all that. Look, if you look like a nigga and you do some off-brand shit, black people are gonna look at you crazy. The only reason why we give the dudes who I feel like I always gave them a pass because I never looked at the dudes from the other places who didn't feel like they were one of us. They're not one of us. They don't want to be you, bruh. Do you understand that? They don't want to be no black person. They don't want to be no Israelite. They don't want to be none of that. Nigga, they want to be a Cuban. They want to be a Puerto Rican. You feel me? Now you're right, bro. I mean, but here's the thing though. Them never being slaves, check this out. Them never being slaves here doesn't change the fact that they might have come from slaves in the lands that they were in. Can't no nigga from Jamaica tell me that there was never no slavery. Can't no nigga from Haiti or the DR tell me that there was never no slavery. They know that they were enslaved. That's why a lot of them gravitate. The real deal Haitian brothers who are really like really with the shit. I know these dudes. I grew up with some of these dudes, but I know dudes who live in Seattle right now. Good brother of mine. You know what I'm saying? He been in the US for probably about 12 years. Came from Haiti. You know, had to get out of there for some bullshit. When he talks, he calls black people, black people in Haiti. He calls people in Haiti black. He doesn't try to differentiate. You got these dudes who are black as his damn shoe right here, okay? Telling me that he ain't no black person. Whatever, dude. You be whatever you want to be. You want to be a Honduran? You be Honduran. But I'm going to tell you this, though. When they get to putting this law, whatever this law is, on your backside, and they will do so without thought. Don't cry foul. Don't cry, oh, they're racist. No. Because that's what black people are trying to do. They're trying to give everybody that out. Another problem I have is black people giving their blackness to everybody else. Quit lending the Asian, the Mexican, the Arab, the Indian, all of them. Quit lending them your blackness. Right on? They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. I think the little crow just in agreement. He been eavesdropping. Okay, you can't lend them your blackness. I do not feel like we are all the same on that level. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Uh, Me and brother Andre Wickham, we have these conversations quite often. And one of the things that come up very often is the fact that everybody has their own land, their own language, their own culture that they can look at and say they're a proud. Okay, you could be the poorest Mexican in Mexico, but guess what? You still got proud. If you a real proud Mexican, you got Mexican heritage and culture that you can look to and be proud of. Even if right then and there, that moment in time, you're like, damn, we should be doing better than this. Black people cannot claim that about any land. Reason being is because the Africans say that we were never indigenous there. They said that we were strangers there when we were there, and that we were their servants, and that the reason why the white man didn't have to come up there shooting up the place is because they told our black asses to get on those boats. Now, when the African tells the truth, niggas say that they lying. If they told you that's how it played out, believe them. They so badly want to believe that a dude with a single shot rifle was able to just impregnate that land and just. So why did it take these guys till the 1900s to really get up in there and take it over? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. They sold people who look like me and you for skins of wine and for dirty foot white women. Nigga, I feel nothing for them. When bad shit happens, I just be like, God bless them. That's too bad. That's too bad. Look at how they treat the black Palestinians. Look at how they treat those people over there in Yemen and all the black people over there in Central Asia. Look how they treat them like straight up garbage. I can't align myself to somebody that's trying to align themselves to something else. I'll give you a prime example. Why would you align yourself with Ethiopians who want to be Arabs? Sudanese who want to be Arabs? Right on? Why? People in Libya, right? Because you got the black Libyans and you got the Arab Libyans, right? Why would you align yourself with people like that? It's the same thing in Central America and all these other places. You got a bunch of people who live in the islands who try to, buddy up with the either lighter skinned black people who were biracial for sure or questionably biracial, or they're just trying to get away from black people altogether. We all know somebody like this. We all have at least one friend that we grew up with who like turned out to be like, I am not fucking with niggas at all. All my all my 12 children are all half something. And it ain't no half black races. They're all straight haired. Or all my baby mamas got straight hair. No, none of their hair got no curls in it. All their hair straight. Self-hating nigga. So badly want to be anybody but who he is. It's always sad when I see a dark-skinned brother who would naturally grow an afro with a perm. It should hurt my heart every time I see it. I'm like, nigga, you are chocolate. Chocolate. And there's black people with naturally looser hair. I can tell just by looking. They don't be one of them. They look like their hair is fried and cooked. Trying to impress who? They don't. This is how I know that everybody. Let me say something real quick. Honor, courage, commitment. Right. This is how I know that everybody knows who black people really are. Because every race on this earth, the only people they do not want you to breed with is black people. It's the only one. Like it's the. I'm not talking about Africans. I'm talking about Afro hair niggas. That's the only race they don't want their people to breed with because they feel like you're cursed, and they don't want you bringing none of that shit to their family. Life is hard enough. Life is hard enough. We don't need the bullshit that you bring in because you curse, nigga. These people are going to be sad when it finally happens. I know what's happening. I know what's going on. Right. Like I said, they were a slave in Jamaica. They act like they wasn't. The, the Africans, for sure, were not slaves. For sure, for sure. For sure, for sure. Colonized, but not slaves. Not like us. And when they say, oh, the Arabs did it to us, take that up with the Arabs. I'm not an Arab. Wow. I don't speak no Arab languages. I don't have no kind of Arabic customs. Nothing. I'm not an Arab. So when they talk about that, yeah, right. You niggas sold us to white people for skins of wine and dirty foot pot belly white women. And you mean to tell me that some hundreds of years later, come home, no honor, no courage, no commitment from them. They should have stood by that fucked up decision they made, and they should still be standing on it. I'm proud to say, elated to say, before I get up out of the next couple minutes, that I am one of the few people who I know helped put a dagger in Pan Africanism. Those, if you know, you know. For real, for real. If you know, you know. Because I've been making these videos for years. So, a bunch of black YouTubers who have hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of subscribers know who I am. They don't come around here like that. Like, not in the comments, but they come and watch the videos. They get their little notepads ready. When they can't stand to take no more, they shut it off. I get it. Unlike with them, I listen to all the shit that they say because I have to know. That's how you really feel, huh? That's how you really feel. Do you know these guys are willing to say that individuals that would have sold them out for crumbs, for crumbs, are their master's teacher, master teachers? And we are his heritage. We're his chosen family of all the families of all the families of all the families on the earth. He plucked a specific genealogy, picked it up, said this will do. This one right here will do. I like this one. Get to it. It's just sad that we can't fix it. It's just sad that we can't get it right. Well, we can. We have to fix it the right ways. Black people, you don't have access to nukes. You don't have access to real life serious ordnance. Those who do have access to it, so few and far in between, you're not going to make a difference come those days. All you're going to do is make yourself a target, get yourself killed. Wisest thing to do right now is to not forcibly spread the message to the people, but when you see a moment to just reach out and just remind these brothers, we weren't always in this land. We're here now, but we weren't always here. So if we want to get back to where we really came from, and it's not even Africa. That was a vacation spot after we got beat down out of Judea. Yeah. Had to tuck tail and run, had to get up out of there. If you ever want to get back to where you really come from, if you want the Most High God to deliver you into the land, You're gonna have to take the actions out of your hands, and you're gonna have to really pray and mean it. And I mean, it just takes the right number of us, the right ones of us, to do it. That's it. That's it. One day, and one moment. And I'm not saying like an organized prayer event, but something likened to it. But the only way is the only problem is we could never know what people are really praying for. Like they could say they want that, but then do they really want that? Do they? We need the Most High God to create a situation where it seems hopeless and it seems like all we have is Him, because that's all we really have is Him. But He needs to create that atmosphere. And right now, people still think that they control their own destiny. Meanwhile, Israel could nuke Gaza and start a nuclear war, and the whole face of the earth be turned into mush and glass, and people dead and dying out from nuclear winters and whatever else comes with that nonsense. Or none of the nukes could work, and then people are shooting each other to death in the streets, viciously, nastily, ugly, ugly, ugly. I mean, ugly, ugly, ugly. I don't even want to think about it, but it's coming. And the question I have for them before I leave up out of here, in that day, in that great and terrible day, my brothers and my sisters, will you have the honor, courage, and commitment to see it through? Because most won't. Most will fall and fail by the wayside. And those who do not fall and fail by the wayside will be rewarded. Believe that. Just like God gives a man the ability to jump high, to run fast, to lift heavy objects, to think quickly, right? To speak smoothly, is the same way the Most High God is going to bless his people with a blessing that no one can take away from them when he blesses them with it. I said that to say this. There's a great leader. There's a great leader in every person. Every person that wants to live for the Most High God has an ability to lead in a way that they could not even believe. They couldn't imagine he would put that sort of responsibility in their hands. They couldn't imagine that he would entrust them with such a task. But if you just believe that he is really with you, in that moment where he tests your persons, right on, where you were tried and proved, that will be that. That will be that. Proved like the silver, tried like the gold. Yeah. Well, time for a little snack. Sweet potato time. Anyway, it has been a it's always been an honor and a pleasure. You know, people, I love you. You guys know it, man. You guys know I love y'all, man. I say it so that way everybody knows I love them. But I wanted to know that like, hey, if ain't nobody told y'all today, this week, this year, this month, this decade, this whole life, if don't nobody love you, Meets loves you. Believe that straight up. Because I know the Most High God love you, but sometimes you just need to hear a physical flesh being tell you God love for you. I really do. And until we get to the promised land, y'all, until this land is on this, until America is on her last legs, be patient. Be patient. Don't take no guff from none of these immigrants. Don't take no guff from none of these young punks. Uh, it's about to be a bad year for these young dudes. Yeah, I got a feeling it's gonna be a long, bad year for a lot of these young dudes. Uh, People tired. They getting fed up. They getting fed up. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. If you're under 26, I would really, really relax this year. I mean, I would relax. I would all the way relax because these little 15 and 16-year-old dudes that are coming up now, a bunch of them gonna X each other out this year. They all think they so tough. It's just a matter of time until the situations just unfold and unfold and unfold. I don't see nowhere being like the 90s, you know. I don't see nowhere being like 1992, 1993 Baltimore, you know what I'm talking about, where they don't even have a clearance percentage for the homicide record, but I do believe that it's gonna get nasty. Uh, Honor, courage, and commitment. It's gonna take a lot of that for these people to walk away from this year, so-called year, because the year really don't start until April, you know. But I salute you, salute you again, and I salute you once more. And I say this: the next time that somebody challenges you as a person, and you know that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, just let them know in the best way that you can. You know what I'm saying? I have the honor, courage, and commitment to do whatever I need to do right here and now in this moment. Do not be afraid. Do not back down. And you never give anyone the permission to do anything to you. Stand up and stand strong because George Carver didn't didn't forego the pleasures of this earth so that way people could stand down and be cowards.